Welcome to 10. This is Tech Entrepreneurs Nebraska, brought to you by the Nebraska Tech Collaborative, powered by the Exarban Foundation. I am Shauna Dorsey, with multiple titles these days, but just here having a great time. And I'm here with
Emily Kenney, Director of Advanced Analytics for a Portland-based company, insurance company, the Standard Insurance Company.
That is fantastic. So, quick little rundown of how this goes. And as y'all can see, I'm co-hostless. That's not a word, but we're just going to like string them together. Brian Poppy is missing, but there is a great connection here. But before we get to that, 10 is 10 minutes max. We do not edit. We release as is. Sometimes we do multiple takes, but you'll never know because you're going to see the one release the one take that gets released. But anyway, Emily and I met years ago when she was interning at Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company on the data science team. And maybe if you could just kind of tell us about your journey from your education leading up to where you are, and we'll just take it from there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my background is in bioinformatics. I had a lot of passion for understanding the scientific world. I had some curiosity and I wanted to explore that through mathematics. But one piece that I wasn't really prepared for before college was the tech side of that. I came from a rural community, so I'd never taken a computer science programming class. And so my first class with Bob Fulkerson.
Oh, yeah.
I was
He's
certain,
one of the faves, one of the best.
What an amazing teacher.
Yes.
I think given he hadn't been my teacher, my experience might be very different. So a big difference that a inspiring educator can make in somebody's life.
Very true.
I remember the first day of class, he said, I'm going to convince students in this class by the end of the year to switch their degree to computer science. And while I didn't switch my degree, I am now actively working in that field and in programming. So I would say he achieved his mission many times over. So I pursued a internship at Conagra first and then Mutual of Omaha after. Had such an amazing experience, I decided to continue and stay another 6 years there and work in data science.
That is fantastic. So I do want to go back to this very important point you raised about the importance of high quality educators.
Absolutely.
So we both know a lot of passionate educators for sure, but there is really something different about someone who is like passionate about the teaching the topic, but also passionate about people. And I think that that's where I affectionately call him Bob, but Dr. Fulkerson, right? Let's be respectful. Or for me, not you. You're great. But he is just one of those people where I remember I did not do well in his class. By the way, I think I took C++ with him many years ago. But he was still always supportive, and I never felt like I wasn't smart because I didn't get it. It just wasn't for me. But,
he did such a great job. He took a very different approach on education that's actually become very common, especially post-COVID. And he did a flipped classroom. And that was very impactful, I think, especially for women in tech and kind of people whose representation wasn't necessarily the majority of people in that class. And so he did this flipped classroom where we'd go home and we'd watch these lectures. And then we'd come to class. And in class, we'd actually do the homework. And it exposed that nobody else knows what's going on. Everybody's struggling too. Yeah. They have the same types of answers, and it made it a very friendly environment to learn in.
That is fantastic. I know I was at UNO many years before he did this, but I still think that he's always thinking like, okay, how can I make this a more effective experience for people? So that's awesome to hear and not surprising given who we're talking about. So very cool. Okay. So you were at Conagra and the Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company as an intern. And then converted to a full-time employee. So talk about your journey at Mutual, like for whatever you can share, but just like how that kind of helped you prepare for the role that you have today.
Yeah. What I really appreciated about Mutual is they took the approach to put people in positions that they wanted to be in and wanted to succeed in. And so I was working originally as a backend Java developer for our Salesforce platform. And I loved the team and it was great work. But my degree was really data focused and data and analytics and data science. And I wanted to apply those skills to a different internship. And I reached out to our intern manager at the time, Bob Herrera, and he said, all right, go it was different than what I expected the conversation to be. He said, go interview 3 managers and then pick the team that you would like to work with. And that was so impactful and empowering to me. And that's how I ended up on the data science team. And it really speaks to putting people in positions where they can be happy and achieve their best. So continued that growth there. I had some incredible mentors that really leaned into the internship program, and curated that growth and development.
And I do appreciate that opportunity to rotate within a company. That's great. So that you're not like, well, I thought I wanted to do this. And I
Yeah.
feel like an internship is really a career exploration
Yeah.
opportunity. So that's great. Okay. So you landed with a team that you were like, yep, this is where I want to be. And then you became a full-time employee and you were there. How long were you at Mutual as a full-time in data science?
I think full-time data science would have been about 4 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I do remember too, there was a point in time where you had launched a data science, what was it called again?
A women in machine learning and data
Women.
science meetup.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about how that came to be. And yeah.
That was such an amazing thing. And it still is. I listened to a podcast actually and heard about this amazing thing. And I went into work the next day and spoke to one of my mentors. And I said, hey, I heard about this amazing podcast. Look what they're doing, not just in New York, but kind of across the country. It was a global initiative. And he said, you should start that. And I was taken a bit aback and thought, no, I'll leave that to somebody else is more equipped to do that for sure. But after thinking about it more, I couldn't imagine that sprouting up naturally. I'm not sure how many people had been listening to that podcast. So I thought, even if I just get 5 people to attend each week and we do something meaningful in their lives, it's worth it. And it ended up being very successful. We were packing the coffee shop full for our presentations. But then COVID happened and we died off. And I had a cute little boy, Charlie. He's like 8 months old now. So hoping to pick that up again here soon. Some more to come.
I get that. It is an awesome way to community build as well, because when you're kind of like, I have a meetup group that we help start with through the NTC. And one of the things that the members of this group expressed, the core group who helped found it, said, I am usually the only one or one of a few within my company that looks like me, represents me. And I was like, we could create community around this underrepresented group. And then you start to feel like just more connected, right?
Yes.
So that's great. So can you tell us about, maybe one of your favorite outcomes from that group, or just, anything related to that?
I think speaking to what you said, creating connections with other leaders that they can identify with and connect with. Sometimes the burden of childcare or other things are kind of left more on the female side. And so understanding how other people have approached that or balanced that in their lives is really helpful. So we did a panel discussion and brought in 4 different leaders in the community, females working in data science, and they got to speak about their experience in the field and really connect with the individual. So making those network connections, I think, is really impactful.
I agree. And so as we're wrapping up here, we have about a minute left, but is there anything that you would like to share with someone who is an aspiring data professional? I don't know if that's the right category, but I'm trying to generalize it. Especially a woman in this field, like anything that you would recommend for her to stay connected and feel like she's not on an island.
Yeah, I would say be bold and don't be afraid to reach out. They can certainly reach out to me and I can point them to a variety of different ways to get engaged. I'm sure they can reach out to you as well. I know you have amazing connections.
And I would just reconnect them with you. So go on. Yeah, you are. That's right.
So be bold. Don't be afraid to take those steps. And if you need a little bit of encouragement, reach out to mentors and continue to trust in that network.
I love that. And with 20 seconds left, I'll say that people love to help. So they're just not often asked. Like I will often share my cell phone number, and the number of people who have actually texted me is pretty few outside of my friends and family.
Absolutely.
But I'm like, you literally can just text me. It's all good. But anyway, I really appreciate you and all that you do. And thanks for being here.
Thank you, Shauna.